writing a report saying she was stupid, and then a bad thing happened. She called herself stupid. Even if she is stupid, that doesn't make herself right to say that about herself. It's just not right. We've had a walk. Oh.